In this video, I'm going to give you an update on Altrarock Partners trades, one of the best hedge funds in recent times. So starting off with some of the smaller trades, we're going to go with Amazon. They trimmed the position by 2.4%. Usually these smaller trades are just to cover fees or business expenses, so I wouldn't really look into them too deeply. Same thing applies to Microsoft, selling around 2.3%. Next up is TransDigm, where they sold around 4% of their position, although it still makes up over 25% of their portfolio. TransDigm is a leading manufacturer of aeroplane parts, and they run somewhat of a monopoly within the aerospace, usually using their capital to buy smaller companies within the industry. And with a profit margin of just over 25%, I think TransDigm is still a great stock to hold. Yes, they are currently trading at a bit of a premium, but I do think this is justified due to the monopolistic characteristics of this company. The first buy of Q4 in 2024 was Google. They added around 4.41% to their position, bringing their position to around 13% of the overall portfolio. I've been talking about Google for a very long time now and talking about how undervalued the stock is. With the current share price of $179, they're trading at a forward PE ratio of only 18, which for a company growing in the high teens growth every single year, expanding their profit margin and one of the fastest cloud growth services. I do think Google stock is extremely undervalued. Next up is Moody's, where they reduced the position by 10%. Moody's is in a duopoly with Fair Isaac Company, and they actually sold out of this position by 98%. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, Fair Isaac is currently trading at a premium, but it is one of the best companies in the world with a huge economic moat. In the long run, I think both of these companies will do just fine, but I think in the short term that Altrarock think they can allocate this capital better elsewhere, investing more money into companies like Google that are intrinsically undervalued. Next up, we have Visa. They've reduced their position by around 21%. Visa makes up now just over 5% of their overall portfolio. Similar to Moody's and FICO within the credit rating system, Visa and MasterCard run a duopoly within the financial transaction sector. I do think Visa is currently trading at a slight premium, but I don't think it's overvalued compared to the overall market. I think if anything, it's a fair buy at the moment, so I'm not really too sure why they trimmed this position. Its number one competitor, MasterCard, is currently growing faster than Visa. And with fears of an upcoming recession, consumer spending could decrease, and companies like MasterCard and Visa's revenue could go down. But personally, I don't see this happening, and I think we'll be just fine. I think Visa and MasterCard are two of the best quality companies in the world. And finally, we have a brand new position in Altrarock's portfolio, and that is Hilton Worldwide. Hilton run a franchise model similar to McDonald's. They don't actually own the properties, people just use their branding. So this helps them to run a very lightweight business model. Looking at Hilton stock the past year, it's up over 26%. I think the hotel business overall is very competitive, and companies like Hilton don't necessarily have the largest moat. Again, if we did see something like a recession, then companies like Hilton would be hit hard, as a lot of working class people would only have enough money to afford their daily essentials. So if people have less disposable income, they won't have money to spend on holidays. Hilton does only make up around 0.5% of their holdings, so it's not necessarily a huge position. So I think having some exposure to this industry isn't necessarily too much risk. Overall, I think Altrarock Partnerships is one of the best investing firms in the world. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more insight into hedge funds portfolios, make sure to follow my page and double tap the screen.